Live.
Hello, welcome to Rupal's Chatty Women. I'm Rupal, this is Janice, and this is Suk. One of us has been asked out on a date already, Richie. We'll get you an answer in a few minutes' time. Apart from dates and whether this one person on the table is available or not, we're going to be talking about dyeing your hair. Would you dye your hair in order to be taken more seriously at work? I'm not sure if this can be dyed any other colour, really. Things you would tell your 3-year-old self now. What would you tell your 3-year-old now that you're an adult about life ahead of you? Love your comments, please, in the comment section below, and make sure you share this video as well. Tell other people to watch it whilst we're having a bit of a natter and join in. And would you confront somebody invading your personal space, especially in places like supermarkets, airplanes, coaches, that sort of thing? Love your comments on all the subjects. Please make sure you share. Say hello to the ladies here. Before we start proceedings and before we introduce you properly, one of us has been asked out on a date by a man called Richie Suk. Richie wants to know, are you available for Richie?
I'm available, but unfortunately not for Richie.
Oh!
Thank you so much for the compliment anyway. It really is appreciated.
You'll notice we started the show with my button done up. Since we've had people asking out on dates, I've undone it a little bit because I didn't get asked.
But could this be because you're blonde? Janice and Phillips?
Maybe people think I'm having too much fun anyway.
Could be. Look, Janice, you, we'll talk about this in a bit more detail.
Yes.
You are a former radio presenter.
I am.
Current presenter of a shopping channel.
Yes.
Technology. You sell technology.
Yes,
to
I do.
people.
Yes, I love technology, and for my sins, that's what I do.
Excellent. Suk, what do you do for a living?
So by day, I am a sales manager for a toy importer. We've obviously been just kind of networking, but I'm also a plus size ambassador as well.
Okay, you took part in a competition recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Miss Plus Size North India.
Oh,
you've had some interesting comments since that competition. Maybe if we get a chance to touch on those at the end, we will do. The Mystery Voice is back. Hello. She's been away, been on holiday. She didn't bring us anything back, but there you go. Look, so dyeing your hair brown. There's been a huge story in the papers. It's been in the media over the last couple of weeks, I think, of a woman who works in Silicon Valley. And she was given the advice to dye her hair, being a blonde, to brown, so that she would be taken more seriously at work, Janice.
okay. Who gave her that advice?
Other women.
Really?
Yep. Other
Really?
women gave her that advice to be taken seriously at work. Dye your hair.
Now that's quite shocking because it does not matter. Yes, it's stereotypical. Blondes have more fun, but that's not true. Well, maybe it is, but it's stereotypical. Where does it come from? Let's think about where this comes from, that blondes have more fun. We were talking earlier about, don't want to advertise, but a certain doll, that I never had actually, but a certain doll had blonde hair.
Yeah.
Did that certain doll ever change her hair colour?
No.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
But is it the Marilyn Monroe kind of effect?
Again, yes, it could be. We've got these icons in our lives from the movies, from when we all started to go to the movies, see these films, see the posters. Maybe, but I certainly think that is wrong. And from other women to say that's quite shocking, especially in Silicon Valley.
What colour are you naturally, Janice?
Blonde, of course.
Blonde.
No, naturally. I was born quite redhead.
Right.
And as I grew older, yes, my hair was blonde, but as you grow older, then it starts to get a little bit darker. So I do highlight my hair because I like the blonde look on me because it just helps, I think, my skin tone more than it does when I've got dark hair. So that's the only reason why I highlight my hair. Thanks for pointing that out.
Sorry, but I mean it's kind of difficult for both of us because we're dark haired.
Yeah.
I mean I dye my hair anyway, but not the opposite. But
yes.
Have you ever sort of been taken less seriously? Would you say because of the colour of your hair?
No, well, no, I don't think I have. I've been in situations where I've had people say around me, "Oh, dear, I've just had a blonde moment."
But I would say that, wouldn't you?
I would say it. I would
Just
say it.
why would you say that?
That's so
Without thinking about it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's stereotypical.
Yeah.
And where's that come from you? Would you really say it? Is
No.
that deep down inside you as a person? Or is that just a saying that's bantering around so it's just there in your mind? Like certain nursery rhymes we can't say anymore.
Yep.
Yes.
But as a child, we didn't know that because we just said it. We didn't have that information.
I think you shouldn't obviously judge a book by its cover. I think what happened in Silicon Valley is absolutely ridiculous. To change the colour of your hair to be taken serious is silly. I've never really judged blonde women on the fact that they're blonde. I don't even look at their hair colour, to be honest. But yeah, I'll put my hands up to it. I will say I've had a blonde moment. So I don't know. It's really silly. To be honest.
Would you change your hair colour if you thought that somebody wasn't going to take you seriously, though?
Rupal, maintaining my roots is hard enough.
How about taking it the other way? If people thought, as a plus size model, you go out there, you have lovely photos taken of yourself, fabulous. Would you dye your hair if you thought that would get you more work? Maybe go a little bit lighter, a little bit blonder?
I think if the role needed it, then I'd do it, but I'd revert back. But I wouldn't do it for the sake of, I wouldn't, if they said, put highlights in or something, I'd do that. But if they said go red because that will give you more work in the industry, no, I wouldn't do that. It's hard to maintain and it's really hard. It's harsh on your hair.
Have you ever experienced anything like that, though? Have you, sort of friends or other people that you've come across where they've perhaps gone for a job interview where there's been something fairly obvious because of the colour of their hair?
I had a friend once who went for a job in a certain industry and there were other people in the room and they were asked to do a certain thing. There's nothing dodgy here. I just don't want to give anything away because, my friends probably watch it. It's nothing dodgy, okay? They were asked to do a certain thing within this industry. And the reason being was the fact that they were blonde. And the person giving them that particular job thought that if a blonde person could do this particular job, then other people would think, oh, yeah, we could follow on with that. Sounds really dodgy, all this, doesn't it? But I just don't want to give anything away.
A typical, if you like, blonde woman doing maybe a manly kind of job is what you're getting at, isn't it?
Yes.
And you're suggesting that the company thought if we give a blonde woman... If a blonde woman can do it, anybody can do it.
Yes, if a blonde woman can explain it, then surely it's got to be easy.
I've had it
That's
kind
so
of a
silly.
reverse thing where I was in my 30s at the time, and I remember kind of getting together with these people who are in my industry, and when this woman met me, she went, "Oh, you've got grey hair." So it was almost like I couldn't be acceptable because I sounded young without grey hair.
Now
So
that's
interesting.
If I'd had black hair, I would be too young for what I do. But because I had grey hair, it was acceptable to this woman, and she was older than me. And I'm thinking, whoa.
Well, here's another thing.
Yeah.
People with grey hair or salt and pepper style is fabulous, and I love. Some people feel they need to dye that, don't they? Because people will judge them and think they're old, but that's not true.
It's funny you should say that, because my mum's actually got short bobbed hair, and she used to dye her hair, but then she decided she's going to embrace her greys. And people were saying to her at functions and stuff, so obviously she was going through an awkward phase of kind of brown hair still all the time. Why are you dyeing it? You should dye it. My mum's like, I don't want to dye it. And they're like, but it won't look nice like that. And then one day my mum had enough. She actually got some silver dye and she just finished it off. And it was a bit of a shock at first, but now I'm like, I'm so glad you did it. You look really good.
Mystery Voice, have we got any comments? And people watching?
Lee says, "Hi all."
Hi, Lee.
I saw one where the hair colour changes when it's blow dry, but they're doing the rainbow colours now, aren't they?
Yeah, there's lots of
Yeah.
different
Styles
colours
and
and
colours,
styles. The rinses are coming back, aren't they?
They
Like
are.
the purple rinse.
Yeah.
I remember buying them in a packet and having a grey rinse or a blue rinse or a pink rinse. Yeah, people are changing their hair colours for all sorts of things. So
It reminds me I need to get my roots done this week before I go back to work. Annie, thank you for joining us. Ricky, thank you. Lee, who's watching. watching, Nidhi and Angela as well. Make sure you keep your comments coming in. Dyeing your hair brown to be taken more seriously at work, or dyeing it any colour, to be honest, or changing even your appearance full stop to be taken more seriously at work. Right, this is a subject I asked a question about on the Chatty Women Facebook page earlier this week. So this is one that takes a bit of thinking, I think. So a bit
I'm blonde. I can't. It's going to take me a long time to think.
This has kind of come off really because I've been reading all these motivational books and positive thinking books, and one of the things it asks you to do is to sort of look after your 3-year-old self. If you as an adult now could tell your 3-year-old self anything, having sort of gone through life as an adult, what would you tell your 3-year-old self now that perhaps you didn't, or no one else told you then?
It is a hard one because life is about learning, and you learn by your mistakes, and that's where your positivity comes from. So it's a difficult one to look back to tell your 3-year-old self what you would do differently, because everything is learning. But I think one thing for me, as a gay woman who didn't come out, didn't realise I was gay, I guess, until I was about 23. I think maybe in hindsight now, when I look back and I think, oh yeah, Charlie's Angels, it wasn't just admiration for Farrah Fawcett Majors, I actually liked her. So maybe that's what I would tell my 3-year-old self. Yeah, you do like girls.
I had a girl crush with Farrah and all the Charlie's Angels, if I'm honest, and the Bionic Woman. It's an interesting. What would you tell your 3-year-old self now, sir?
I think it would be, like I said earlier, I think it would be listen to your parents. They've obviously had experiences themselves. They know from their experiences what's wrong, what's right. You've got to learn from your own mistakes, like you say.
Yeah.
But I do think take on what they say. You don't always have to listen to your parents' advice in that sense, but certainly take it on board before making the next move. And I think if I did that a lot more, I'm so glad they're not watching this. I think maybe I would have been in a different place, or maybe I'd be where I am a lot quicker. But listen to your parents and take on board their advice as well.
I think for me it would be confident, don't be scared, take risks. Are some of the things definitely. That I would tell my 3-year-old self.
I would say that. I'd say no idea is a bad idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. What about you? What about some of your suggestions?
Apart from burning the carpet, that was a really bad idea, Janice. Not a good idea. Move on. Yeah.
Burning the carpet.
Yeah. It's not that I had a thing for matches when I was a child, but I remember my mum went round to the shops, and I don't know why, I was lighting matches. I don't know why. Anyway, I burnt a little part of the carpet. It's terrible. And I tried to hide it, so I went to another part of the carpet and cut off the threads. And then stuck them on the bit of the carpet that I burnt, thinking my mum wouldn't see. She did.
Moving on, shall we?
Always admit what you've done. That's another thing.
That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a good one. What about you? What would you tell your 3-year-old self now? I actually asked this question on Chatty Women on the Facebook page. I had some great answers, including one from Samir, who I'm sure won't mind me mentioning him now. Said, here you go. Here's the play with the toy dentist set, which did make me laugh. But loads of them were really thoughtful sort of answers. So yeah, make sure you leave those in the comments section now. Any comments?
Burning the carpet, Marty McFly style. From Lee.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, and Lee reckons you should go, instead of purple, you need to be blue for Leicester City Football Club, because you're a humongous fan.
I am a fox from the inside out.
She really is. Final question then, and this, I think you can expand on this story a little bit, so can't you? Would you confront somebody invading your personal space? This was a story in the papers, wasn't it? Or a video, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. There was a video actually. I saw it on Facebook a few days ago. There's a woman actually sitting on an aeroplane, window seat. She's just got she's doing a selfie kind of video, and she's got her face looking at the screen, and she slightly tilts the camera, and all you can see are these little bare feet from the passenger behind, just right there, and she's just looking at the camera like, what the hell? And I don't know what the outcome was of that video, but I would so tell them to move their feet. It's just...
Would you have the courage?
Yes, I'd like to say yes. I think I would. Actually, to be honest, yesterday I was in the cinema, and there were these two women chatting about their personal problems, whatever it was. I think it was a mother and daughter. I thought, I'll give them the trailers, But when the film opened, they were still talking. And I thought, I'm getting a bit mad here. Okay. I like it to be quiet when I'm watching a film. And I was borderlining, going outside, telling a member of staff and coming back in. It's better not to approach them directly, especially in the dark. You don't want to seem kind of evasive or anything like that. But I think I would do something about it. Even if it wasn't me, maybe tell a flight attendant, something like that.
So you would. You see, we were on a flight recently and we had screaming kids, and I am not joking, it was horrendous for the whole 2.5 hour flight or whatever it was. And nothing was being done. The parents weren't even trying to calm this baby down.
Yeah,
they should.
Nobody said a word. Everybody had to sit through it, but it drove me nuts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it felt like my personal space was being invaded. I was on a flight. I was there for a reason. I wanted my peace and quiet because I'm not great on flights at the best of times. But you're invading my space. Go away. But I didn't have the courage to say anything.
People are inconsiderate, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I wish we could be more considerate. I am. I'm always considerate to other people. But if someone starts to invade my space, various ways I'll cope with it. Sometimes at the supermarket, they're right behind you.
Yeah.
So you can feel them breathing down your back. And I'll test it. So I'll be in a queue and they'll be behind. Because we love a queue, don't we? In this country, we love a queue. In fact, try this. When you go out, wherever you are, you could be in the middle of the street. If you've got a friend with you, just queue up. You'll notice people start to queue with you. It's brilliant. You could be queuing for nothing. But they look, right, I'll get in the queue. It's fabulous. So I'll test them and I'll be standing there in the queue and I can feel them behind me. So I'll move slightly and then they'll move. So I'll move a little bit more and they'll move again. And then I'll either, if the person in front of me moves, I'll stand there just to cheese them off and then you hear them huffing and chuffing behind you. Or I'll take a step back and I'll knock into them and then go, oh, I'm sorry. Just to try, not to teach them a lesson. That sounds really harsh, doesn't it? But just to make them aware that they're invading my space.
Yeah.
But if somebody really does invade my space, I will tell them. So if I was on a plane and they were leaning all over me like this, I would probably say, could you not do that, please? Or just slightly push against them back or back against the seat.
That's what I do.
So that, how some people, they'll put their seat back like this when you're eating. I'll just kind of push against the seat like this.
I actually tell the flight attendants,
tactic.
can you just tell them to move there? Especially when you're eating, when your train's right here.
Yeah.
You
and you haven't got enough space as it
exactly.
is.
I will tell the flight attendant.
Great.
Please, everyone, be more aware.
Comments, mystery voice.
Right. Nidhi is saying, I saw that story, her face was hilarious. Yeah. I absolutely would tell the woman behind to move her feet. And Lee says, random queuing, that's a YouTube video idea right there.
Loads of people tuning in. Jitendra, nice to have you on board. That's my cousin all the way from India watching. Hi, Jitendra. Bina is also watching. Annie is watching, and she says on the subject of telling your 3-year-old self, I'll tell myself not to balance along the fireplace and knock my mum's diamond engagement ring in the fire. That's a really good idea. Thank you so much for all your comments, and make sure you keep sharing this video. We haven't quite finished yet because Janice is a television presenter who basically flogs things, normally technology. I thought we should end the programme with 2 things.
Okay.
Right?
Don't like the way you did that with your fingers.
Sorry. Selling this bottle of water and selling Rupal's Chatty Women.
Ah, right.
So you have 30 seconds on each, and then you can grade her if you like afterwards when you go back and watch this video and then watch her on the telly. So 30 seconds. Has anyone got a stopwatch? 30 seconds starting now.
Water is one of the main things you should be drinking throughout the day, but it's not something you've always got at hand. If you've got a bottle of water with you, it means you can rehydrate at any time. In particular, a see-through bottle. This will tell you how much rehydration you've got left for the day. That means you're fully informed throughout the day and making sure that you will remain rehydrated every single step of the day, and maybe even encourage someone else to drink.
Yay! You're a salesperson! No, you're a salesperson! 30 seconds starting now.
I don't know what to
Starting now.
Okay. I don't know how can I possibly be that?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
It started.
Attach the emotion. Attach the emotion.
Don't give her advice.
So actually, You get water bottles in various forms. Here's mine, actually. Always carrying a water bottle with you to stay hydrated, as Janice has just said. You can get them in different colours. They are available in different models. And this one's got a nice diamond cut to it. I actually prefer this one to this one. This one's got a sticky residue to it because the label's been taken off for branding purposes. Mine has no branding whatsoever. Also, this comes in different colours as well. Make sure you... looks a bit more fashionable than this one. I'm all about the fashion, me. It's 30 seconds up yet.
The mystery voice lost count because she was so
That's not fair to bring out a blinged up water bottle.
I didn't even know. I always carry a bottle on me.
I didn't mention it was stick. Look, it even sticks to me like that. Yes.
It's because I took the label off. See, branding, that's why.
I always carry a bottle.
Right,
I like, very
okay.
good. I want one.
You
See,
have-
I want one.
Right, before we go, right, both of you.
Oh.
Should we do this together?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's
Both
do
of you
it together.
together. 30
your
seconds
wingman.
on why people should watch and continue to watch RuPaul's Chatty Women.
Lead.
When the mystery voice says go.
People should continue to watch Chatty Women because it's going to give you ideas what to talk about with your friends and family. And it's always good to have those endorphins racing around your body and keep your brain in tuned.
I think you should always watch RuPaul's Chatty Women because it's great to kind of interconnect with people that are on the show, learn about them, learn what they're about, and also, if you've got any ideas, let's talk.
Everything's better out than in.
I agree. As Shrek says. Shrek says that. Shrek.
That's it. We've got to go. We're way over time, but thank you so much.
Thanks,
Janice,
RuPaul.
Phillips,
Thanks, everyone.
thanks, Sook, and thank you, Mystery Voice, and thank you for your company.